I'm Shondella Roberts, and I teach 7th graders. I teach reading in advanced content course to be more specific, which means I teach gifted learners. So this is our learning target as it comes to the lesson. I can create a biographical multimedia project through an author study. The author that our students will be studying is John Lewis. So let's get started and look at the examples provided. This would be an example of my first artifact, the slideshow, which would be presented to my students. I like to give them exemplars. So this is an exemplar of a mind map about a character. And here are more examples because they're going to create their own mind map based on the facts that they research about John Lewis. And then we will get started and students will use the planning guide provided to learn more about the author and activist. And this would be the final slideshow that I would present on the screen and leave it frozen for the class so that they know exactly what they're supposed to do. Then I would set a timer. So I want to do a demonstration of the 3 tools that I use. So the first one would be what I just did. This is a demonstration of a tool because this is a slideshow created in Canva. So the slideshow itself would be my first demonstration of a tool. Then my second one would be the mind maps that are included. These are the examples of mind maps that my students would see the examples of that they would later create. And then I want to show another example, which is the checklist sheet that my students will use. So if you look at this checklist or directive, I usually refer to it as a task sheet. It's letting the students know exactly what they're going to do. Each student would have their own. And within this infographic, you have other examples of author study documents that I created. So incorporating color, incorporating information on the infographic, and these were created within the application tool Canva. So this would be an example of my 3rd or 4th, depending on how you look at it, because it's an infographic which has other infographics included. So we have the PowerPoint slideshow, the mind mapping, and then the infographics here. This is an example of the checklist that students will be using: 10 or more facts about the author, John Lewis, 2 or more quotes, 2 or more images, and include adjectives. If you look at the bottom, right here at the bottom it states, you may use any digital tool we have used this school year. Your final project may be a 1-pager, so they can do it all on one, or it can include multiple digital pages. They can create a slideshow or an infographic. Just be sure to follow the checklist. So when it comes to this lesson plan, I gave it 5 to 10 days. We're going into our 2nd week now of what students will create. The implementation of the lesson went very well. I want to go right to my reflection. The prior learning did prepare them for this task. The students were able to collaborate with other students when it came to the mind map, but not with the final product. We've done things like this before as a class through reading The Outsiders and The Watsons Go to Birmingham. Now we're reading our next novel, which is March Book 1. So they do sit in groups, and I do use a timer, so there is some collaboration, but the final product is independent. Differentiation is included in the lesson. Students will be able to see work from their peers, so they will see what other students are doing. How can the lesson be improved in the future? I would provide a sliding scale rubric. I have some students that really sped through the project because they didn't see points applied. Sometimes that happens a lot with gifted students. So, I may also change this for next year and allow them to work on the final product as a group. So those are a couple of things that I might implement in the future to improve this particular lesson plan. Thank you for your attention.